Last week, we talked a little bit about how CFCC theater students were told at the very last minute that they had to remove a No Kings logo from the set of their theater production. I also talked about the fact that a veteran and a student emailed him to complain about a violation of his First Amendment rights, and that Jim Morton didn't even bother to email him back. Instead, he had an underling, the vice president, Brandon Guthrie, emailed the student back. And at the end of that video, I said, that's because Jim Morton doesn't care about students. This week, I'm going to give you further proof that that's the case. Back in 2022, Morton had a run-in with Marine Tech students. He decided to change the pay structure of some of the employees in the Marine Tech department. These employees took students out on cruises on the CFCC ship. He decided to change their pay structure, which would have significantly reduced their pay. And in protest, several employees who took students out on those cruises decided that they were going to resign. The ship's captain was one of those people. Now students were left with no opportunity to go on a cruise because they didn't have a crew to take them. They decided that they were going to protest, and the chair of the department at the time, Jason Rogers, decided that he wanted to help them make their voices heard, but in a respectful manner. The students got together with Jason, and someone was videoing that meeting. And again, Jason was explaining that it was important for them to let the admin know how they felt, but also to be respectful about it. As a result, there was a big hubbub, and several media stations picked up the story, so Jim decided to reverse that decision, knowing that it looked bad and he was becoming unpopular. So things didn't end there. As I mentioned, Jason Rogers was on their radar, so they waited about 1.5 years, and then they fired Jason as the chair of the department and moved him into a biology position. Students were understandably upset because Mr. Rogers was much beloved in that department, so they decided they were yet again going to protest. This time, students organized on their own, and they decided that they were going to show up for that board meeting in July of 2024 to make their concerns known to the board. Now, July meetings, summer meetings, are usually not very well attended, so there are only a few people who go. Well, it just so happens that Mr. Morton decided that he needed to have some event of acknowledgement for chairs, and that caused the boardroom to be packed. I was with the students that night, and sure enough, when we showed up on the 5th floor to attend the board meeting, we were told, sorry, the room is too full. They had guards stationed outside of that boardroom who were harassing the students from the start, asking them for IDs, asking them to prove that they were actually students. And at one point, we even asked if one person could go into the room, but because they look like a student, he said, no, I'm not allowed to let you in because I'll get into trouble. They were there specifically to harass and prevent students from speaking to the board. We were told that we had to go to a runoff room that was 1 floor below where the meeting was actually happened. So we all went down there to watch the meeting on a big screen. And to my knowledge, not a single student was able to access a board member to express their concerns. So I say to you yet again, Jim Morton does not care about the students.